Know thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
Howdy, hey, I'm Randall K, coming to you live from magnificent Middle Tennessee with the Free-for-All Friday edition of Bible News Radio. And a little late going in because I'm sitting here ready to go live and I'm like, wait a second, I don't have a way to monitor the comments. So while the intro was playing, I ran into the room next door and grabbed my phone so I could see all your comments and see who's coming in and that kind of thing. So stand by as I come over here. I click a Periscope on my mobile phone and there I am broadcasting. And we got some folks in here. Yeah, we do. We've got AZE and a bunch of T's, it looks like, and Alcus is here, and Melanie is with me, and a few others who I can't see who you are. Whoops. Mounting my phone in a place where I can see it, and let's try one more thing. I'll move my camera again. Try doing this thing again where you saw the back of my phone there. See if I can get this to where, yeah. See, this is what happens when you you broadcast from a spare bedroom. All right, so let's try something like that. Yeah, there we go. See, that way I can look here and watch the man. I was hoping I could be watching the camera, look at the camera, and watch the comments at the same time, but they're still too far apart. So much for that, eh? So let's do a little more crazy stuff here. Oops, bouncing around. All right, good stuff, and then we'll kill that. Is this fun or what? Yeah, I just leave well enough alone and just like that. And so if I have to look to the side to see the comments, so be it. But all right, here we are. Finally a Friday. How's everybody doing today? And I want to see what's going on elsewhere in the land of digital media. All right, over there on Facebook, somebody's there. It tells me that there's a comment. Sean, he says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Sean. And I don't remember doing that. All right, well, looking over there on YouTube to see what's going on. Yeah, so I've got 3 screens to look at here, just so you know. All right. And I think not as many people show up when they know it's me solo. All right. Well, before I forget and put it too late into the episode. Good, that's working. I wanted to let you know that this program is brought to you in part, yes, I say in part, by Ariel Ministries. And, yeah, not working here. Little bug in the latest release of Wirecast, just so you know. I contacted about them yesterday. They confirmed it was a bug, and I forgot about it and tried to use the feature anyway. But Ariel.org, they've been Ariel Ministries has been friends of ours for a couple of decades plus, and just great people, solidly biblical. You can find them online at ariel.org, ariel.org. Hey, Dog Fowles, someone has joined us. Welcome to broadcast. Anyway, ariel.org, you can find out a lot about them in a short time by checking out their magazine in the top navigation of the menu. There you'll see the list of magazines. They have a quarterly magazine. The latest is will be on the top left, and then you can go through a digital copy online, learning more about the ministry news, things they do, and this cover story is real interesting, where God speaks of himself as us, looking at plural pronouns and references that God uses of himself in the Hebrew scriptures. Interesting stuff for sure. So, and then if you want a hard copy for your coffee table, they do have the magazine available for purchase too. On our website, BibleNewsRadio.com, there it is, BibleNewsRadio.com, on the resources page, we have recommended resources there. Most of them are from Ariel Ministries. Some things that we would hardly endorse anything from the ministry, but these are some of our favorites in alphabetical order. This one, great, Life of Messiah, Yeshua Life of Messiah from Messianic Jewish Perspective. You want to check that out. And pretty much anything else available from their ministry. And if you decide to buy something, be sure to use the coupon code Bible News. Bible News when you check out, and prompt for a coupon code. Hey, Diane, welcome to broadcast. Put that in, and that will save you 20% off of anything, anytime that they have in their store. So definitely want to take advantage of that. All right, cut to me. Well, more of a cross dissolved to me. And we will get on with this program. So, first of all, I'm out of the loop because I don't. Stacey Lynn and I, we don't have cable or even antenna on the roof, so we don't get broadcast television. Seldom listen to the radio. Maybe a few times a year. News I get out the web, and I don't go searching for it per se. I mean, I don't have any news feeds come in. I should, but when it comes to what's going on in the world at large, I'm pretty much ignorant. Yeah, admittedly and somewhat embarrassingly, I'm not up on current events unless something else, something is called to my attention through Facebook or, a text from someone, and I go look at it. And I brought up Google News today to look for a particular thing, and then I saw on the top of the list that talked about the President of the United States and the First Lady, Donald and Melania Trump, visiting Beauregard, Alabama, to witness and be a support there for the people who have been struck by deadly tornadoes. And I didn't know that. I mean, we're talking one state to the south of me. Tennessee shares a border with 7 other states here in the United States, and just to the south of us in the same time zone is Alabama. And I did not know that there were tornadoes there over the weekend that killed 23 people. And that's pretty unusual. I mean, tornadoes can be obviously a deadly force, but in modern times with modern construction, things like that, at least here in the United States, hey, grown folks 40, welcome to broadcast, And whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to hit that button instead. Iowa Dota is with us. Others, glad you could join us. So yeah, tornadoes can be a destructive force, but here in the United States and much of the Western world, those sorts of disasters, even earthquakes and hurricanes, usually don't have, hey, you're running for Zion, welcome to the broadcast, don't have as much of impact on life, certainly an impact on property. But anyway, sometimes you'll see in a tornado, and any loss of human life is a tragedy. Inside the womb or outside the womb, in any place in all the world, of any economic strata or ethnic background, a human life is intrinsically valuable. So a loss of human life is tragic. But often I will see, in tornado, if there are any deaths at all, it might be 2 or 3. To read that there were 23 these tornadoes in Alabama, just unpleasantly surprising to me. And so glad to see someone from the federal government and the top executive officer to visit there and show some support. And so moving along to the top story, headline story, is this new Bible for Millennials. And I thought this was interesting. When I first saw a headline somewhere, I forget, I'm thinking, oh no, they're going to take out, it's going to be expunged of anything biblical. It'll talk about Jesus as a nice guy or, a great teacher, or, will shy away from any of that kind of salvation sort of verbiage and sin and salvation and judgment, those kind of unpopular topics and any kind of exclusivity. But then, rather than go off half-baked, I researched it, and it's really interesting. And rather than try to summarize it myself and then end up with taking just as long as reading some article, I'm going to jump right into the article. That's Sean. He's over here on Periscope. Welcome to the broadcast. You were over there on Facebook a little while ago, and probably, yeah, he said good afternoon. Okay, I wanted to make sure maybe because I wasn't responding to you over there, you came over to Periscope. Anyway. All right, let's check out this article on Fox News. It's recorded elsewhere, but this one's kind of succinct. Millennials create a Bible for the Instagram generation. We are using imagery in a more modern way, they say. This article by Caleb Park says the two share the same name, that is the same last name, though they're not familial related, or at least not directly. Anyway, the two share the same name and passion for sharing Jesus with younger generations. Thumbs up to that. So they created a Bible for millennials made by millennials. Brian Chung, 24, a native of Los Angeles, met Brian Chung, 30, a Hawaiian who relocated to California 12 years ago, while the two were involved in the campus ministry InterVarsity Christian Fellowship at the University of Southern California. Good to know that InterVarsity is still there on the USC campus. Says a lot of people are placing their books on coffee tables. It's very visual, Brian told Fox News. It's a good conversation starter for even those who don't consider themselves Christians. They started Alabaster Company, named after a story from the book of Mark, where a woman takes an alabaster jar to use expensive perfume on Jesus' head. It was one of the only times Jesus used the word beautiful, one of the main themes for their company. The company started as a Kickstarter project that raised $62,000. Hats off, guys. And they got some big backers like Hillsong and Bethel churches. Last year, they went from working part-time for tech startups to launching their own creative faith-based brand for millennials as a way to explore the intersection of art, creativity, and faith. You know, I'm kind of takes my mind back to the medieval Bibles that we sometimes see that were hand copied and illuminated Bibles, as they say, where the I don't know if it was the scribes or other people would make all these, artistic flourishments in the margins and stuff like that, because it was, considered something. The scriptures were beautiful and were worthy of that sort of ornamentation. And we've had some folks on this program in recent months, years, whatever, that have kind of brought this back, Bible journaling and Bible illumination, making artwork in Bibles to interact with the scriptures on another level. So, back to the article. Alabaster Company's books have been placed on coffee tables as conversation starters. They're on a mission to show that beauty is important in our understanding of who God is, Brian Chung said. There was a high value for art for Christians in the past, indeed. I mean, if you tour any art museum, in the metropolitan area, LA or, New York, Chicago, you'll find that a lot of the the Renaissance art and the art of the masters depicts biblical scenes, and of course you look at much of the music from I would think the Baroque period and such. The great composers, of Bach and Mozart and others. Often there were works that were done for a sacred setting. Sea to Shining Sea, welcome to the broadcast. There was a high value for art for Christians in the past. We still view beauty as important in our walk with God and wanted to highlight that a little more for this generation, which makes sense, this being a visual generation and visual media, from everything from, UX design, user experience design, and mobile apps to, anything else. It's very visually oriented. I'm one who, as a I was saying part-time, but I know everything I do kind of adds up to multiple full-time things. But one thing I do for income is produce video, and so I occasionally will produce videos about videos, and getting familiar with the stats to tell prospects and clients. And I've seen study after study that shows that people these days would rather watch a video than read a paragraph of text, because video is so prevalent. And you consider millennials, born here in the 21st century, that they're pretty much grown up in a visual environment, and then isn't becoming less so, it's becoming more and more so. Which is why the increase of kiosks in place and stuff like that, because this is where we're at, all the way to virtual reality and all that. Very, very visual oriented society. I hope we don't forget to read in your name begins with a C, and welcome to the broadcast. Sorry, I stumbled over that. Sometimes I have trouble reading the Latin alphabet, even though it's my native language is inscribed in it, and I am mildly dyslexic, so that presents a problem too, especially when the contrast is not high, like white on yellow, white characters in yellow background, or white on an orange as it was just then. Struggle sometimes. Truth bomb. Article. He said he grew up in a Buddhist household, went to a Catholic middle school, was agnostic in high school, and became a Christian in college. So for him, this project was personal. That seems like the opposite of the typical progression. That's almost it's a stereotype where the kid grows up in a Christian home, or like a missionary home, or is a pastor's kid, son or daughter, so that they grow up in a Christian household. Then they start to interact with people from different cultures, different walks of life in high school, then they become a Buddhist, or maybe become a Catholic in high school, or they go to a Catholic high school. That often happens. Christians will send their kids to a Catholic school because when it comes to high school, or even middle school, those are only around. There's a faith-based institution that they're pretty sure that isn't just anarchy, that's going to encourage sexual promiscuity and all that. So anyway, I'm trying to look at this paragraph here and interpret it backwards, but yeah, it's often a case that a kid will grow up in a Christian household, then maybe go to still go to a Catholic middle school, maybe a Catholic high school, but then they become a Buddhist in school, and then when they get to college, they become agnostic. Something like that. Their faith gets watered down with exposure to more and more liberal teaching. Anyway, so this kind of cracked me up to see. He grew up in a Buddhist household, went to a Catholic middle school, was agnostic in high school, and became a Christian in college, of all things. It happens. God has a sense of humor. He says, I remember getting my first Bible. I was a little intimidated. It was unlike any book I've had. I thought, could this be designed better? Of course, not, the content trifled with, but designed better. And the two have creative backgrounds, and Brian Chung served as a religious director for InterVarsity, so the Bible design project seemed like a perfect fit. I could go on and read the rest of the article. It's not much, but I thought we'd just go ahead and look at some of what they've done over on their site, alabaster.co. This isn't, this is an unpaid, and it's not really an endorsement either. It's just looking at what they're doing. Let's see. Look at all. Go past the slider there. They got the Book of Proverbs for $21. A complete set gospel set, Psalms, and Romans, $55. More than you'd pay for a Bible. But if we, looking at these things, it reminds me of like an architectural magazine, like Architectural Digest, or or something like that. One of those magazines that you see in upscale offices. Pretty interesting stuff, like looking at the Gospels. I'm not so sure about the covers of the Gospels, the different, looks like they're pieces of maybe marble or something. They got a flat side, so a piece of pottery or something that's broken. I'm not sure. But anyway, they use the New Living Translation, which I'm not gonna, complain about too much. As a study Bible, no, I wouldn't recommend the New Living Translation. But at least it's a translation. It is a translation, and the New Living Translation follows the sort of tradition of the New or the Living Bible, which is not a translation; it's a paraphrase. But the New Living Translation throws in when there's more than one meaning for like a word in the original language, whether it be Hebrew or Greek. They'll throw a few possible meanings for the word to sort of kind of the Amplified Bible does that as well. Anyway. So, and I can see the New Living Translation being more approachable for people, unfamiliar with the Scripture and might just see this book sitting on a coffee table, or they get it as a gift, something like that they might appreciate the design aspect and read it. So, anyway, I think they're doing a pretty cool thing. I'm sure the King James only people would take issue with me for saying the New Living Translation was okay, but yeah, I prefer translations that are done as far as the New Testament is concerned, that are translated from Textus Receptus versus the what might be called the Alexandrian texts or the Nestle Aland texts, because those that Greek text is based on only two Greek manuscripts, and those, in my not so humble opinion, have they have uncertain origins and a little dubious origins, and that for one of them, the Codex Sinaiticus, whatever, that was purportedly discovered by a guy who went looking specifically to find an older source for the New Testament. And even though the ones we have fragments from the first century, anyway, he wanted something. He was going to make a name for himself. Tischer. I'm trying to think of his first name. Charles Tischer? Anyway, I don't know. But anyway, and so he went and found it, and that was the authenticity that was hotly disputed by someone who claimed to have authored the text and had his own manuscripts that he created that were, in my not so humble opinion, enough to give cause to doubt, like maybe he did in fact create them. Man, it's the source of that text is uncorroborated by the place it came from. And then the other text, of course, came from the Vatican Library that was suddenly discovered around the same time and in partnership with the same guy. So, anyway, I could go on and on about it, but most modern translations, most English translations, I'm not familiar with other language translations, but most on the 20th century and later are using those presumably older Greek texts, but I would say dubiously older and suspicious. And there are some significant differences between that and what is the Textus Receptus, the received text, which is a compilation of many manuscripts passed down, received through the centuries. And those have some differences too in terms of word order or spelling, things like that. But with so many thousands of copies to compare with, then you can get a real confidence of what the correct is. Like if you've got, let's say you've got 500 copies of a particular gospel, and 4 of them leave out a word. Is it more likely that the word was omitted from 4 or inserted into hundreds? Anyway, I will save you the textual criticism lesson and all that because of this story. Hey, it's Free for All Friday, which means it's more unstructured than usual. So I get to ramble on more than I usually would. So let me turn it over to all you all out there. I know there's some folks watching okay, I'm monitoring Periscope here. I'm going to pop over to Facebook here and look over what's going on in the world of YouTube. I guess to keep you from typing a lot, I should ask some questions which you can respond to with a single digit, something like that. So let's start generic Free for All Friday. Yes, sir, Guy has joined us. Well, yes, sir, Guy. Welcome to the broadcast. Hope that doesn't mean like you're a yes man. It depends on what you're saying yes to, I guess. Though that's the question is usually more important than the answer. Though the answer, is certainly important. Like Yeshua asked Kepha, Peter, well, actually asked the whole group of the apostles there, who do you say that I am? Very important question. Of course, an important question concerning his identity. Of course, the answer was equally important, which affected each of their lives and eternal destiny. But we have Kepha's, Peter's answer coming back to that thou art the Christ, thou art the Messiah, the Son of the living God. So just just random association here, word association. Yes sir, Guy, yes, yes man, and then yes would be in response to questions, and then important questions, important answers, and 1, 2, 3 Earth somebody joined while I was looking away, and then June Desjardins is here. Glad to have you here. All right, so I was gonna start to engage all you all. What do you think about redesigning a Bible for millennials, for a visual generation? Do you think it's one? You think it's a great idea? Two, unnecessary. Let's just go with those. Let's just go with those answers. One for great idea, or two, unnecessary. Maybe you don't hate it, but you don't see the necessity of creating a new, more visually appealing scriptures for a younger generation. And I know there's a delay. I don't know how long the delay is. ISO somebody? I don't know how to pronounce that, but welcome to the broadcast. There's a heart, another heart. Turquoise colored hearts coming up, but none of those hearts is an answer. One, you think this is great idea to create a new visually orientated Bible, or Bibles or scriptures, books of the Bible for a more visual generation, or two, really unnecessary. Or maybe no one's really watching. They just, started, selected the episode and then walked away from their phone or computer, or, desktop, mobile, or portable device. Facebook, quiet Facebook. YouTube, y'all are quiet too. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Nobody's saying that they can't hear, or no sound or anything like that. Or maybe you can't hear me, and that's just as fine, because you're entertained by my face for radio and my moving lips. Tito Bor somebody has joined the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast, Tito. Glad to have you here. I was just asking those who are already here that if they think, and Kangaroo 93 has joined us, I'm just asking if the audience believes that creating a new Bible, more visually oriented Bible, or books of the Bible is a great thing, to appeal to millennials, or you find it unnecessary. One, for great idea, two, for unnecessary. My goodness, you folks are quiet today. Usually I'm the quiet one with nothing to say until I have to sit in solo, and then I'll speak up. All right. Well, no opinion. No opinion from all y'all. Hey, Sean over on Facebook says two, unnecessary. Jean de Pasquale Sparks. Is that Jeannie or Jean? I don't know. Over on Facebook says stupid and unnecessary. Yep. We hear you. Well, good. Yeah, I think if these weren't made, that, I don't know. I think those who really had an interest, in scriptures, seeking them out, I don't know. Commenting, can't you see the comments? No, I can't see the comments. Maybe I should pop out of here. I'm gonna, whoops. me, don't want to do that. Come on, back. We can, well, now jump back in, I probably can't. Alright. Like in Periscope, a lot of people are commenting in Periscope, says Diane. Okay, people coming over on Facebook and let me know. I'm seeing that, but for some reason, yeah. Well, good. I feel better. I don't feel so much like a monkey in a zoo, like you're just showing up to just look at me and stare at me. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not seeing the comments here. Well, let me do this. If I make sure that I'm not going to get any sort of echo here, make sure all external channels are turned down. Let me pop over here. And let me see if comments show up that way. Okay, so that's all right. Just want to make sure I'm not going to get the echo and feedback there. All right, so now I've got that there. Okay. So I've taken to monitoring the Periscope broadcast from within Periscope Producer. I try not to do that so there's not as many large video streams taking up the bandwidth at the same time. And I usually monitor the Periscope broadcast here on my phone. Yeah, not alone. Yeah, I'm seeing the comments on Facebook. Now it works? 1, 2, 3, or it says now it works. I see that, but that didn't come up on the phone. All right. Well, so I missed all your comments earlier, and I'm just because I've gone in and out of the broadcast and the monitor. I don't know what the comments were. Levity Between Us has joined us. That's Oddvar, right? Welcome to the broadcast. So yeah, going off the one response to the question I did see in Facebook from Sean about two saying it was, well, this is stupid, and oh yeah he said 2, and then Dave Pasquale Sparks over this is stupid and unnecessary, and I wouldn't go to stupid. You might I understand their heart, and these are millennials looking to reach millennials, as we saw in that Fox News article, that that was their motivation to reach more people, of their generation. So I think it's cool to reach them for the Lord. So I think their heart's in the right place, and the fact they've been involved with InterVarsity, that kind of thing, which is an evangelistic association. So, yeah, I think they're in a good place there. But, yeah, you have to wonder, when you look back over the previous years, you might say, well, for centuries, there wasn't a generation-specific Bible that... the scriptures worked for generation after generation, were introduced, the next generation the same way they had been before. But we do see a change in culture. You might say that culture was unchanged for centuries. I mean, certainly if we go back to the Middle Ages and up to the time of the Renaissance and even before the Enlightenment, you could even say that day in and day out life was, especially with technology and living conditions and that sort of thing, were fairly static. I mean, certainly there were some changes over time, especially in language and things like that. But generally, no lot of changes. But then when we reach the end of the 19th century, going into the 20th century, the whole Industrial Revolution, things like that, and then, things begin to happen more rapidly. I mean, I've been on this planet for 55 years, unless you count, almost 55. You can count the in utero time and make it 55, though I hadn't set my feet on terra firma. And I think just changes that I've seen technological wise in my lifetime, as from childhood, as well as cultural for sure. And when we talk about those issues all the time. Now over here in Periscope, the last comment I got monitoring the broadcast is from 123 Earth, and the question is, now it works? So I don't know. I don't know if there's been any sense. This sort of kind of defeats the whole purpose of live streaming. If you can't interact with the audience, and thank you, Melanie, for sending me messages on Facebook so I know what's going on. But I'm going to come back in on my phone and then see what happens there. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you all left, because I can't see what you're doing. Let me put my phone back up here. Boom. So I don't have to look too far away to watch the camera. Yeah. The pink hearts floating up there. The hearts, no comments. What bad day for Periscope, I guess? I don't know. That's very disappointing and discouraging. I'm seeing comments. I've seen any of your comments, Melanie. I'm getting your Facebook messages that are popping up, but I haven't seen any of your comments on either monitor, either from within Periscope Producer or here in the mobile app. I've seen the one comment from 123 Earth 5 minutes ago. So that is now it works, and Rev Rhodes has joined us, and First Classic has joined, and anyway, Melanie's answer is no need for another Bible. Yeah, maybe not a need per se, but as I was saying, culture has changed a lot. Even since I was a kid, and I've talked to people much older than myself, and the technological and cultural changes that they've seen. Like I've seen cultural changes. I mean, things that we talk about in this program, the whole sexual anarchy movement. I mean, that really began back in really, you might even say the 30s, but in a more organized fashion, it just is ramped more and more up. And I mean, we talk about whether we're talking about school shootings or drug use, and talk to your parents if they're still living about the issues that they dealt with in school versus the issues that are done in schools today. So yeah, there are technological and cultural changes. Sorry, experiencing technical difficulties, says Rev Rhodes. I see that comment over on the mobile app, but it hasn't come up on the monitor within Periscope Producer. I'm going to close that. Go back to Producer. I'm going to click View Broadcast again in Producer and see what the heck happens. There's so many youth Bibles now. Yeah, you're right. And by the way, you're seeing, well, where's Melanie putting these comments? He's getting her comments, but no, those are via Facebook Messenger. And then see what's what here. Let me pop over here. I'm going to eat up all my bandwidth trying this from so many different notifications. Yeah, let me close some things here so don't eat up too much bandwidth. Yeah, just Facebook comments and Facebook Messenger comments. Test comment for producer. Rev Road says that comes in. So it's just, I don't know. If it's just the latest person to arrive can send a comment and it comes up. I suspect that all y'all are seeing each other's comments. And of course, you put that in a comment. I don't know that. Periscope viewers. You can let each other know whether or not you can see each other's comments. Because apparently, I won't know. I won't be able to see. The Tony Montana 4 has joined. I got that notification. I'm seeing people join. I do see some occasional hearts, but yeah. Well. And you'd think on the mobile app that it would, I mean, if nothing else. Okay, people come back in. Too bad this is messed up for him. 123 Earth. I get your comments. And you're able to use eggdrop.com for Periscope. I don't know if I can for producer when I launch producer. Well, tell you what, rather than eat up the time with this, me not looking at you through the cameras, I'm going back and forth, looking at this, looking at that, trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe that's my cue to wrap this thing up. Skip the bow and just go on. Now it's funny. Now over here on the phone, I see a bunch of green hearts scrolling up and an occasional gold heart. And over here, monitoring the broadcast through Periscope Producer, there's an occasional gold heart, and I don't see the green hearts at all. And 123 Earth says, I see others' messages. I don't know how you get to be the lucky individual that your comments come through. But I'm on desktop, see others' comments. I'm now seeing hearts. Oh, Rev Rhodes, I get your comments. So, yeah. Well, yep. Don't know what it is. So the lucky two, you get your comments in. But, like I say, and then a burst of green hearts from someone. I don't know, this is nuts. All right. Well, like I say, I'll take that as cue and wrap this up. Let you all get on to your weekends. Almost 5 p.m. here in the Central Time Zone, which means it's almost 6 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone, and which you'd want to make it the beginning of the Sabbath, or at least sundown. New messages there. Mine the Green Heart says 123 Earth, and 10_ day of my life is joined. Welcome to the broadcast. To the end of this broadcast. If you comment, I probably won't see it because there's issues with Periscope, at least on my side of the wire today. And God bless you too, 123 Earth. All right, well, yeah. Gonna wrap it up. Skip the bow. So thanks for joining me. I'm real sorry that I couldn't interact with you, because that's the best part of live streaming. And here I thought, you were just all captivated by my handsome face and then didn't know what to say, but missing all your, gosh, feel bad. Didn't mean to neglect you. But go out there, enjoy your weekend. Have a plan or don't have a plan, but be flexible, be receptive, be sensitive, in your spirit the leading of the Holy Spirit, that you might not miss any divine appointment that comes your way. Thanks for hanging out with me and watching me through the glass cage. And I will catch you tomorrow, Lord willing, tomorrow evening for Weekends and the Word, somewhere about 7:30 p.m. Central Time is when I aim for, and hopefully hit it. So until then, the Lord bless you, the Lord keep you, make his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you, lift up his countenance upon you, give you peace. Be bold, stand up, and go with God. Why? Because he loves you. And maybe see you tomorrow. Goodbye.